Alright everybody, welcome to another Dead by Daylight video. We're not talking Chucky today, we're not talking about the event. I did want to keep a promise, and I know I've been very negative towards the Survivor side, and I do play a lot of Killer. I do play Survivor though, mostly off stream, but I wanted to talk about a Killer perk that I'm kind of late to the party on this, but I also didn't start really making these kinds of videos until after the discourse was done. On Ultimate Weapon, and I know Behavior has said that it's getting looked at, I believe, on the roadmap, which is fine, along with Stabiffle, which is a whole other conversation we've already had. But Ultimate Weapon, does it deserve the nerf, or to be nerfed? And the simple, short answer is yes. Ultimate Weapon is too easy to get off, it provides too much information, and it pigeonholes survivors into running a specific perk, Calm Spirit, to counter it. And I think that is so much that it does. Now, granted, I have heard the argument, well, it doesn't exactly tell you where they're going because you don't get aura reading, you just get the scream, so you have a general idea of their location. Now, here's the difference with Ultimate Weapon and some other perks that do this. Let's look at Barbecue and Chili. Probably, arguably one of the healthiest perks in the game. Why is Barbecue and Chili fine, but Ultimate Weapon isn't? Well, the biggest thing is that you have to hook somebody, for one. For two, Barbecue and Chili has like 5 counters. You can hide behind a gen to hide your aura. Trust me, it works. You can hide in a locker that hides your aura. You can be close enough to the killer, therefore it doesn't show your aura because you're not in the range limit of it. You can run Distortion, that also does it. The thing is, there's a lot of these different ways you can counter it. Plus, it requires a prerequisite of you hooking somebody for it to work. And the reason why it's healthy is because a lot of times the killer will hook somebody, Barbecue and Chili will show them someone on the other side of the map, maybe not too far, so they go for them. So it discourages them from camping, proxy camping, and tunneling. Doesn't always work, but it does these things. It's just overall a good perk. And before, when it had the 4 stacking, obviously it was good because it definitely encouraged you not to tunnel because you wanted to get all 4 stacks, get all those blood points. Once again, a whole other discussion. Ultimate Weapon. Open a locker. Anyone who steps into your terror radius, hear them scream, they get blind. So let's talk about how to fix this. First off, remove the blindness. I've heard this said by a lot of people, and I think it should be removed. However, I think the reason it's on there is because Behavior didn't realize how strong it was going to be. So I do want to preface that. I don't think Behavior thought this perk was going to be as good as it was, so they wanted to add an additional effect to try to incentivize people to use it for whatever reason. Blindness is one of those... It's one of those status effects that I think people don't realize how good it can be. One, you can't see people on hooks. You can't, if you brought a full aura reading build in Survivor, which isn't as uncommon as you think it is. A lot of Survivors bring Bond, believe it or not, and Kindred. Can't see that. You can't see the auras of gens. You can't see totems. You can't see with Detective's Hunch. The big thing, though, is it counters windows of opportunity. But that's a whole other discussion about blindness. This whole video is basically becoming just seeing like, well, we could talk about Ultimate Weapon, but let's talk about these other things that Ultimate Weapon kind of brings up the conversation too. My only proposed change to Ultimate Weapon is very simple. You hook somebody, you get a stack. When you open a locker, you consume the stack. Once the stack is consumed, for the next 30 seconds, if someone enters your terror radius, they scream. That's it. That's all I would change with it. Gives it a prerequisite, gives it some tokens so you know, so you don't have to use it every single time. The only killers that's really like, quote, hurts is maybe Huntress and Trickster because they have to open lockers to reload. But, you know, they have other options. I mean, even like looking at a similar perk like Darkness Revealed, where when you open a locker, anyone within, I believe it's 5 meters of a locker, their aura is revealed. Now, the difference with this one is that is extremely map dependent. Survivors have to be near a locker, and it requires you to it just requires a bunch of prerequisites. That's the only thing with it. And I think it's what makes Ultimate Weapon in such a bad state. Because even the argument for Stabiffle being, like, super overpowered, at the least, you do still have to get the 8 stacks, right? Like, it takes some time to build up. And I'm going to bring up a completely random perk that has a little bit to do with this conversation. It's similar to Grim Embrace. I think Grim Embrace is the opposite spectrum. I think Behavior thought it would be too good, so they gave it the prerequisite of having to hook every single survivor once to get the effect. The effect isn't very good, so no one runs it. This is the opposite of that. The effect of this is extremely good with no prerequisite other than opening a locker and a cooldown, and that's it. I think Behavior just messed up with this, and I really hope the change comes sooner rather than later. It isn't as prominent as I think some people say. I haven't heard too much complaining about it over the past couple weeks, and I think it's mostly because it's kind of died down. But it's probably one of the killer perks that needs to be changed very soon. I don't think it's super oppressive. I think it's more annoying than anything, and it's pigeonholing survivors into bringing Calm Spirit, which inadvertently hurts other killers. And in my personal opinion, Calm Spirit is one of the most annoying perks in the game, just because not hearing the scream when I hit somebody is super disorienting. It's just a me thing, though. But let me know what you guys think about Ultimate Weapon. You guys have been commenting a lot on the 180 video. And I'm going to add this at the end here. I am going to do a follow-up video to that, and probably when the event's over and I can do some more actual research with how much Chucky has changed since then. I am still going to wait on the Chucky guide. We're going to wait maybe a couple more months just in case Behavior wants to do any other changes. But it is coming. And that's really it. You know, the like and sub stuff. You know, you got to do that. I'm a YouTuber. You got to do that. It's the only way I eat, even though I have a job. Don't worry about that part. And the Twitch is below too. Once again, I always appreciate the support, guys. It really means a lot. And I'm going to make this ending part as painless as possible, even though I already haven't. Once again, tell me what you think about Ultimate Weapon. I think it should be nerfed, and I think it should require a hook. That's all I think they need to do, and I think it will be a perfectly fine perk. In any case, I'll see you guys in the next one, and bye!